You're listening to the Radcast, a top 25 worldwide business podcast. If it's radical, we cover it. Here's your host, Ryan Alford.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the latest edition of the Radcast. I'm Ryan Alford, your host. We like to say if it's radical, we cover it. Well, this is pretty fucking radical if I say so myself. It's the power of social media, the power of TikTok, and it's the power of men's dating expert and blunt know-it-all, Jen Larson. What's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, that's a compliment. You do know it all in dating. Yeah, in men's dating. Yeah. You're the truth.
That's right. I think the best way and the quickest way to change is to be blunt and honest with people.
Yes. And that's why I like you. You caught my eye on TikTok like everyone else's. We'll get to that. TikTok fame and popularity, the world we live in. But I was like, I like this woman. She speaks her mind, which some men get uncomfortable with that. I like it. I like your brashness, your boldness, and you're fucking smart. Like, after all, sometimes there's that sheen of toughness, but I kind of see through it. I'm like, oh, she's tough or he's tough, but like, there's not like an intelligence behind it. But you're smart as hell, Jen. I'll give you credit.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate you coming on. So, Jen Larson, she's a men's dating coach, the bluntest of dating coaches, which hopefully we're going to force her to be blunt. She's going to be nice because we get her on the show, but you got to be blunt now, Jen.
I will be.
But
if it's not this time, maybe you have me on a second time and I'll just be more blunt. We'll just keep escalating it.
But it's so interesting, owning an ad agency and being knee deep in social media, people like you come across my radar. And not only like I respect like what they're doing, that they've embraced these things that maybe they didn't, have an ad agency like coaching them, but they embraced the opportunity was there. But it just shows you how powerful it is with, the following you've built and all that. So congrats on that. But let's back up a bit, Jen. Let's set the table for who is Jen Larson and what made her such a badass.
Well, I think I have a lot of street smarts when it comes to dating. I have 4 older brothers. We talk about anything and everything. I've always called him for advice when I was dating. Because it's like, talking to someone who's trying to fish. Don't ask the fisherman how to catch a fish, ask the fish. So he always told me, Jen, if you need advice about a guy, ask a guy. And so that's where I feel like come in. Guys, you want advice about a woman? Ask a woman. Don't ask another guy. It's 2 different brains.
So it all came from your brothers.
All from my brothers, all through my experiences, friends' experiences. Even my daughter, when she was younger, she would tell her friends, just ask my mom about dating advice. They'd ask her, they'd say, oh, I'm dating this person. She said, just go sit down with my mom. So I was in the living room coaching high schoolers on dating. So I wasn't as blunt then, but I am kind of blunt with people because, like I said, I think that saves you a lot of time. And sometimes people don't see the mistake that they're doing in dating. And it could be a small tweak that'll just change the entire trajectory of your dating life.
So, like when you were 16 or 20, and I know you went through experiences and we can go down that road or not go down that road, but did that mold you? Like, I mean, we're in the same age category. You had kids a little younger, but did that have anything to do, or is it just, were you at 10 years old, were you just direct as hell?
I was direct as hell, always. I would always just tell people I'm going to be the president of the United States. My mom, every time I was done eating, she'd say, that's impossible. And I'd look at her, I say, nothing's impossible. Had a daughter at 16, immediately knew I'm going to be a mom. Cut out all my friends, cut out all my bad habits at the time. A couple years prior to that, my brother died in an accident, and so our family imploded. And kind of on my own, so you can see how I then got into some bad things. Had a daughter, and that's just when my life changed. Her name's Destiny, actually, because that was supposed to happen for me, and that just changed my life. I went to college. I went to Purdue. She never spent a minute in daycare, and I'm proud of that. And I understand some people have to do that. No shame in that. But, to be 19, going to college away from my family. And I just always kind of, if I get knocked down, I get right back up. Sometimes you got to lick your wounds, but you always in life got to get back up. My brothers taught me that. They're all entrepreneurs. Never worked for anybody. It's just, you got to always get back up. You can't stay down.
You have a confidence about you. I think, and I hear you. I think anyone that says they're going to be the president, it's got to be some confidence.
You might have a little ego problem too.
Yes, you're just secretly, a guy's guy, a girl, a guy's girl. You got to be right. You had to have all the guys liked you probably. Both for your looks and your approach. I mean, you have the best of both worlds.
Yeah, because they feel comfortable talking to me. And that's pretty much how it's always been. And, when I was younger, it just get comfortable talking to me. I would become best friends with guys pretty easily. And it was really no filters. And we could just talk and be respectful of each other. So that's kind of how it's always been.
What was the journey to TikTok? So talk to me about, that path of, maybe taking your persona and your personality. And I don't say it's not a character because I can tell it's you, right. But what was that path to that? Was it a tip? Was it just watching what was happening? What channeled that?
I wish I could say I was smart enough to think about that on my own. But no, I was started on Instagram influencing. So I was doing hair, makeup, and clothes, and it was not sustainable. I'm usually in yoga pants running around or not wearing makeup. So it just wasn't sustainable. I wasn't happy doing it. And I felt clothes, hair, and shoes wasn't really important at the end of the day. So I myself hired a coach. And I just said, I don't like what I'm doing. And, so she said, well, think about what do people go to you for? I mean, instantly, I'm like, advice. That's what it is. She said, okay. Because, Instagram's very curated. You got to have the good lighting. You got to have the filters. There's a lot more goes into Instagram. And I'm busy. I have got other side projects. I'm an entrepreneur. I look at other opportunities. So, okay, hold up a camera and just speak what's on your mind. And I have to have your makeup on or your clothes on and just sit. I could do that. So I started with making, she said, do 2 videos a day for 15 days. And I went from 1,000 followers to about 25,000 in a month, 3 weeks. I mean, it just went pretty quick. And then I had a couple of million and 2 million views. And it's just it built quickly. So people obviously felt some connection there. And I loved that. I could be myself and people like me.
Go figure.
There's nothing. There's nothing easier than just waking up and being yourself.
So what were we talking about? Give me some juicy gin talk of, what really popped off for you to start, topic and, you may not remember exactly what you said, but let's go there.
One of the biggest videos that got so much comments and people going back and forth is I said, women cheat far way more than men. And that is a fact. That's the truth. But then you've got people saying, well, where's the data? It's you don't need the data. Sometimes when you're street smarts and things, data comes out later, right? Because data someone's got to be interested in looking at it, number one. And then they've got to study it, research it, put it in paper and publish it. So people are like, where's the data? It ain't there yet. You'll get it. So I was even watching Chris Rock the other day, one of his stand-ups, and he said the same thing. And I was sitting there with a friend. I was like, he said it too.
Yeah.
And he's been around, right? Chris Rock's been around sometimes.
Chris Rock's been around.
Yeah, he's been in the industry. He's seen some things, and he said the same thing. And women do. They get away with it because they will, what we say is die with a lie. They'll never tell anybody. Even if they tell, like I said, one of my friends, I picked her up from the airport, and she said I had an affair with my husband. Well, that's not good. Then we talked about it a couple months later. She's like, I didn't say that. I'm like, yes, you did. You were in my car. You said that. So they even deny it. They get back in their heads where they will pretend and convince even themselves it never happened. So that's how they're able to just get away with it.
So guys have to talk about it, so they get caught.
That's
and
right.
Girls
they'll
will
show
just
their friends pictures, right?
Yeah.
This girl, right?
So more girls cheat. So I like to call that, you know what I call that content? That's called agitation content. You know, you agitated the market, especially women. Well, probably both sides for different reason. You agitated men in the way that in maybe a good way. I know they do. I knew it. You know, like she's so right. And then the women going, what's she talking? Like, you know, of course, like that's probably all the comments were.
It was crickets from women for like a good 2 months. And there was guys commenting saying, where's the women? I think I had 3 women comment in like a month or 2 months of time. They're like, oh crap, she's giving away our stuff. Shit.
What? Why do you, so you think more women cheat because they can get away with it and it's not known, or like, what are the other factors?
I think they do it because of attention, because, you know, women like attention. That's why I say social media ruined women and porn ruined men. And so women, I mean, you just go on any Instagram. I mean, I could look at my phone now and before I could find one of my friends at the beach in a bikini. Why'd you have to post that? You know, I mean, so it's these attention things that they're doing. Because I always say, if you're having a genuinely great time where you're at, you're really getting a photo. So it's a lot of these posed photos. I mean, my friends do it. I mean, they go all out, and it's like, you don't even talk to them at the end of the day. I mean, you guys have fun? Nope. You know, it's just getting that photo, dressing up, getting that photo, getting that attention from a guy. It's pretty easy to sweet talk a girl if she's willing to cheat.
Yeah.
I hate to say that.
But then it just comes down, I think you said this, like comes down to the morals, right? If they have morals, you're probably okay. But if they're loose or not there, then that's the biggest. Right.
Oh, yeah. And then I have my girlfriends who will they give off that energy, like, don't even approach me. And she doesn't get approached ever. And she's gorgeous, but she never gets approached.
It's the vibe, right?
You can give off as a female.
Yeah, exactly. What's some of your other like key nuggets of TikTok isms or I mean, I know you're on both platforms, big now, but like, what are some other?
Well, I think now, because I get a lot of friends saying we're done, we're out of the dating scene, I want to keep my money and keep my peace. And so I think, though, if someone perfect were to show up at their front door, they of course would date again, right? They're just, this modern day feminism really destroyed a lot of stuff. And now they're on social media talking about how you should have 3 guys, your first guy, your second guy, it's a rotation that girls are starting to have with these guys. But I say, do a prenup. If you're worried about losing money because you have a divorce, do a prenup, because there's no better time to split your assets when you like each other. And it's almost like we get insurance for our car in case something happens. We have house insurance in case there's a flood. You should have a marriage insurance, which is a prenup. And it shouldn't be an unloving thing. It should be like, hey, it should almost be looked at as a loving thing. Like, listen, if this doesn't work out and we become enemies, you're going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. None of us are going to walk away broke and having to start life all over at 40 or 50.
But you're talking rational when all the endorphins and the I like you so much things are going off. So it's like the rational stuff goes out the door, right?
It does. And I mean, I've heard people that say, you know what, someone told me, she's like, my husband and I take gummies just so we can get it done. Like, because sometimes you might need to be a little lucid to just write it out, because no one wants to truly sit in those feelings of this isn't going to work. It's not a fun thing to do, but it's not also fun to fill out on your driver's license that you'd be an organ donor if you die. It's not fun. It's things happen, So I say prenup. We want prenup. We want prenup.
How many times have you been married? Have you been married more than once?
I have. So that's also how I got into the date coaching. Is I decided I was picking the wrong people. I was finding projects. I was putting like my hard hat on, and so now I'm like, you know what? I have this energy and this gift to help people. I'm no longer going to date those people that need help. I want to, find someone who's stable and healthy and has already worked through their stuff. But yeah, I picked a project. So my first ex-husband is really great. He's the one I have children with. We get along very well. I always say it's like Kourtney Kardashian, Scott Disick. We just get along. We did mediation. We didn't want a judge deciding custody. So we decided it ourselves. We roll however we want. The second marriage was pretty gnarly, pretty abusive. So that was short-lived. And I'll just never get myself into a situation like that. So through all that, I learned that and it takes two to tango. I had to go through like, why was I picking these people? Yeah. Because that's part, my fault too.
Yep.
So
had to eat your own dog food, so to speak. That's same. Right. Yeah. Like take your own advice.
That's right. That's right. So, the things people call me about, ask me about, we talk about, it's a lot of it. We've all been through like heartbreak, breakups, the awkward, of me seeing each other. Like there's a lot, or not knowing whether you should end the relationship. We've all pretty much been there. So
at the end of the day, does it boil down to like the whole men are Venus and women are Mars? Like, is it like, and I've never read that book, but I assume the premise is like, just saying
men are simple. Like they truly are. You know that women are more difficult, but women try to make men more difficult and they're really not.
That's right.
They just, I was talking with someone the other day, and he said, I was talking to a group of friends, and he said, we all agree looks don't even matter too much anymore. We just want someone to be nice to us. And that's true. It's like, treat him like a king, you treat her like a queen, and work out problems as they come, nourish the soil, pull the weeds, and you could have a really great life with somebody. And I think picking a partner is one of the most important decisions you're ever going to have in life. They're either going to project you forward in your dreams and what you want to do, or they're going to completely hold you back. And so, with me having 3 kids, I worry about that for them. So they get coaching, they get free coaching from me.
It's true about women do want to, like, I think my wife wants me to be more complicated than I am. And it's like, not all the time, but like, I think she's figured it out now. I'm on my second rodeo too. And I think it's true though. I think I'm like, it's not that complicated. Like, right. it's not more, it's less.
Right.
Like whatever you think is, being thought.
Right. And that's why I think, women the wheels start to spin, like, they just kind of make things up in their head. And it gets really out of control. You're like, I was just making pizza. Nothing much to it. Like so it's interesting dynamics. Yes, between men and women. But that's kind of why I decided I'm just going to coach men, because sometimes in an argument, it doesn't even take one person to end it. So women have asked me to do some coaching. I would take some people on, but mostly it's been men.
What are the universal issues? You probably touched on some of them, but like, what's the most common thing you're solving when you're working with men and coaching them?
It's been a lot. So this is the I would say the thing that I've done most, and is also the most pressure for me, is when they're like, should I stay or should I go? Because they're saying,
because then you feel like you're not liable or like of breaking up a relationship, right?
Right. So they'll say, and I get it. They're like, my friends feel this way because they're protecting their buddy, and then their family. So they're getting advice from all these people, and so sometimes they just want to call to me and ask me and say, here's what's happening. Here's what's happened. What do you think? And luckily, that's why some people try to DM me and ask me for advice. And I just say, always get on the calendar, because there was this one guy in particular. Within the first 5 minutes, I'm thinking, yeah, this girl's horrible. By the end of our conversation, I said, you married a unicorn. I'm like, you got a great relationship. Like, good for you guys. So that's why it's important to talk to people. You don't, it's like doing a job interview over text. You don't get that. You got to So there's some people who do try to slide into my DMs and get, you know, that free advice, but it's a disservice to them, honestly.
Yeah.
If I would have had this guy getting divorced, I would have been like, yeah. So
I think the hard thing with relationships is, look, it's a compromise, right? Like,
right.
You don't want to compromise too much because then you're unhappy. Right. That's the
right.
balance. And it's like, no one's going to be perfect. And men and women are different. But
yep.
I think the hard thing in relationships is knowing like what is compromise versus giving up who you really are, you know, like on some level, like, and knowing what those boundaries are. And I don't know that even the right person is clear, right?
Right, right. And those things I think could be worked out. I mean, what is the problem? Like if there's something that you have to compromise, like why do I need to compromise? And if it makes sense, then you'll want to compromise it, right? If she says, well, I just want to be able to check your phone. Well, why? Well, because I feel insecure to do that. All right, well, go ahead, check it. I don't really care. You know, then you don't look at it as controlling. You just look at it as like, okay, well, I'm doing nothing. She could look at it. You know, anytime, you know, they could take my phone and look at it. There's nothing. I just always say, don't look at my text. Or if you look at my text, don't comment on it. You know, like, why did you tell your brother this or that? Or what do you guys talk? Like, don't comment on it. It's a private conversation. But you can look at it, but I don't want any comments about it. Yeah,
is it like dirty? Are we talking dirty? Now you got my piqued my interest. Like, okay.
Oh, me and my brother talk about everything.
Okay.
Like, yeah, he'll just say, oh, you know, talk about his wife or all. I mean, it's crazy. Like, there was this one time I texted him. I was in a really bad situation. I was divorced, single, and I texted him. I said, I just slept with this guy. I said, I got really drunk and I regret it and I feel like crap and I want to go home. And like, he just wrote out like, here's how to get the hell out of there. Here's what to do. And block him on everything. Don't mess with this guy again. And so I blocked him on everything. And oh my gosh, but it was just a huge mistake. You know, after like a divorce, you're just out there in the wild and end up drinking too much because they pour you shots. And I'm just like, oh, Lordy. So yeah, we can talk about anything. Like it's one of my brothers in particular. We talk about pretty much everything. But I like that. I like to be able to have his blunt advice. And he's kind of the one that helped me understand how much it's needed. Because when I was in relationships or going through a breakup, he would say, like, for instance, there was this one breakup that I went through. The guy cheated on me. Then he broke up with me. He said, Jen, do not call this guy. If you ever want to, he's like, don't do what I did. He's like, I was begging back. I looked like an idiot. I just lost all my pride. He's like, if you ever feel like calling him, you call me, you call your friend. He's like, you don't call it. You don't text him. And, you know, he just told me what to do after that. Because I don't, like I said, I don't really like the therapy route. I think therapy is good for healing and trauma and all that stuff. You know, getting over a breakup, I want that 10-minute, here's what you do it, and then I call again with another problem, you know, and it's just, I want to know the steps. I want the shortcut. I mean, that's the right thing to do, honestly. I think we all do.
What percentage of the guys you work with does it, even if you don't tell them, like, it's hopeless? Is when you're working with guys, like what percent, like, is it more or less that I would think that you're sitting there listening, you're going, this relationship's hopeless, like, or are most of them fixable?
I mean, honestly, like I said, it feels like they're already contacting because they're on the way out and they don't know, need that other source that's not in their life, that's not have a biased opinion, that needs that clarification. Because that's what I was saying. Like anytime someone books a call with me, they're always going to walk away with more clarity, regardless of what their question is. So I think that's a lot what people are looking for, is that clarity.
Yep.
And sometimes it takes a few calls. Sometimes it's a one and done phone call, you know?
What's some of your other agitational comments on social media?
Well, I mean, I get a lot of mean girls on there. Like the women are mean, which is like, that's kind of what I'm talking about in here. You guys are assholes. And you're like complaining you can't. Oh, no, they're not complaining they can't find a guy. They don't want a guy. Like, sure, you don't. So yeah, I just feel like a pick me girl, like I'm trying to. It's just ridiculous. Or someone will duet my video. I'll always go look at that video, and these girls will start commenting. Like this one girl's like, "These are her insecurities." I commented below. I said, "Yeah, she's crazy as hell. Like, don't listen to her." But yeah, I always appreciate when people like duet or stitch. But I always try to get into my comment section and respond. But some of these videos just take off. I can't keep up. A lot of people are just fighting, and I'm like, it's almost like a divorce. It's like mommy and daddy are fighting. I'm getting
people are fighting in the comments of your videos.
Men and women are fighting. Yeah. I love it. So it's just, they get really nasty to each other. And I don't like that negativity. So I will just ignore it all. But, when there's those other videos that I post, that guys kind of reach onto and I'll talk back and forth. And one of the coolest situations that happened was when I talked about how women cheat more than men. This guy came on there, and I know he was saying this is okay to talk about. He said, "I just found out my wife is cheating on me. We have a 12-year-old. I'm devastated. He doesn't know that I know." And I just, we got comments just flooding in, like, poor guy, and like, get all the money now, and this and that. And I ended up reaching out to him, and I just said, actually, I was telling my brother about him. And my brother's like, "I'd love to talk to him." So they started talking. We come to find out this guy lives in Illinois. My brother's an attorney in Illinois. So he gives him all this free advice on like attorneys and divorce. Because he said, "I'm done. There's no way I'm going back." He wanted a divorce. But I just think that's how cool, like, the power of social media. Like, suddenly he's got an attorney he could talk to. And the guy that was giving him great advice. My brother gives great advice. So
that's crazy. We were talking pre-episode, like, social media now it's the social version of television, and because you got education and entertainment going on, but it's what people are paying attention to and leveraging, and then they're building community, like you're talking about, like within the platform. The power is incredible. So, tell me, let's give some value. We have a lot of men that listen, so. Okay. I know it's hard. I know you would be specific to a guy if you were working with them. Mm-hmm. But maybe give me a couple of nuggets of guy tips for girls, like how to get ahead in your relationship. Like, what are maybe like a couple things that maybe aren't, sometimes there's things that you should do and they're obvious, but you don't do them or whatever. But are there things that might surprise that could help guys generally in a relationship with a woman?
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with mindset and then strategy. I would get, your hands on, if you don't want to do a coach, I would get your hands on some books where, because happy people make other people happy. So I think a lot of it starts with internally, and it starts to kind of bleed out, right? So taking care of yourself. I mean, it's like, I always tell people, get fresh air. I mean, I know this sounds easy and small, but it's taking care of yourself is very important to take care of someone else. And always, like they say, you attack the problem, not the person. Every fight look at it as an opportunity to learn more about the other person. But you know what I mean? There's some people who are just toxic. So when they get into a fight, it's yelling and screaming, and there is no communication. Like I said, my second marriage, I didn't hear a thing he said when he was screaming and yelling. He just looked like a child having a tantrum. You can't communicate with that. Yeah. There's nothing to work with. So sometimes, you have to step out for 10 minutes, but I like to always say this. Like, listen, if you're heated and you can't talk right now, just say, I need 10 minutes, I need 30 minutes, I need an hour, but then set that time where you're going to say, all right, we're going to come back and talk about this. That way, her anxiety isn't increasing, like, when are we going to talk? Is this going to ruin our plans tomorrow? Like, the wheels start spinning for women. So I always like to give that advice, is have a time where you will talk. And it's okay if you like, I'm still pissed. Give me 30 more minutes.
Right.
So I think just having a period to the end of that argument is a good thing to do.
Yeah, women are definitely, the wheels are spinning. Like, I mean, guys think about it, but the women are like, they've created 17 scenarios in their head and 14, like, right? Like,
right. You're right. That's exactly right.
My wife does that. She overthinks things. I'm like, I don't,
I mean, I do it too. That's why in a relationship, that's kind of like the rules.
And then I underthink things, and I don't, like maybe give as much value or significance to something that probably should have had, more value or significance. So it's like, it's double-sided sword,
Right. Well, what you're talking about is that's what I'm going to be working on soon, is creating a course, for men, where you just download it and you have it. And it's kind of breaks down how women are. Like if you are in a relationship and you want it to work and you're thinking about, okay, Mother's Day, like what do women want? Like, so it's almost like you don't even think about it, but it looks great. You put all this time and energy and thought into it, but you're having a woman tell you how to treat a woman. Like I said, fishing, ask a fish. So I am working on creating a program that I could just, email out, and then you have it, and you're good. And
I love that. And I know we'll hit it again at the end, but if you look up Jen Larson on TikTok, give everybody the handles. That's a good point to so that people know when those things come out. I'm sure that they're following your channel.
Yeah. So most of my content comes out will be on Instagram. So it's Jen Larson Official on Instagram. It's also Jen Larson Official on TikTok. YouTube is coming. Clapper, all the social media outlets. You never know what's going on with TikTok. Some days it's going to be gone. Some days it's not. So I try to filter everyone into Instagram because it's more protected there.
Yep.
And I don't want to lose touch with people, because I actually got cut off of a live the other day on TikTok, and I've been banned for a week. I mean, not being able to talk to people is just wild that someone could complain and cut off my contact with my followers.
Kind of the bad thing of it. It's just the wild, wild west with that kind of stuff. But
that's right.
Again, back to, a little more value as we wind down here, like Jen, talking with Jen Larson, TikTok famous dating coach. How do a lot of people go, I could do that. I could pop off on social media. I've got ideas, but they're functionally don't know how to get started or how to come up with regular content, Maybe share some of your tips or tricks with just how you plan things out or how you come up with ideas, and maybe just some of the functional ability. Obviously, anyone listening, if they're not interesting and they aren't as blunt as Jen, they probably won't pop off. But you still need a process and a system with which to kind of do these things.
Of course, that's what changed everything. Is I had a system. So posting twice a day, posting content that you can keep up with. So if I'm always posting sitting at a desk, I always have to post sitting at a desk. If I am always posting and my hair and makeup is done, I always have to continue that. There was this one guy, I know he started making TikToks where he's walking down the street and he's holding the phone up and he's saying, here's 3 points. If you want to make money, it's an investor. Guess what he has to do every day? Walk down the street and hold a freaking phone in his hand. Because whatever you start, that's got to be how you do it from now on. You can't suddenly be, walking on the street, then you're in a chair, then you're standing up in front of the mirror. Do that. Yes, maybe once in a while you're kind of doing the makeup while you're talking. You're doing something, what you would naturally do. But for the most part, the algorithm's going to see that box, and that's important. So doing something you can maintain. If you're not someone who, can do the hair and makeup every single day, don't do that. Throw a filter on. Who cares? Also, you've got to really figure out a niche. I could have started with, I'm just going to offer dating. Well, that's not even down good enough for me. I had to go, do I want to do, coach men or women? You've got to find a very fine niche. And how you find that is ask yourself, what do people tell me about? Is it asking about makeup? Is it asking about finances? Is it asking about cars? Is it asking about the newest and hottest shoes? I mean, whatever your passion is. There's a lot of other people who have that same passion. So bless you.
Thank you.
So yeah, there's always other people out there that have that same passion. So it doesn't even need to be, I coach men. Obviously, there's a lot of men in the world, but you could be the expert of sneakers, talking about sneakers. And I mean, and use your personality. Don't copy anybody else, because it'll come off as disingenuous. You got to be.
Is TikTok the organic reach there for you still there?
Yeah.
High?
Yes.
That's been the most impressive thing about the platform is usually at this stage, it starts to kind of dwindle, but that still seems to, as long as you're being consistent and have good content, it's that organic reach is still gigantic.
Yeah. Yeah. So I now I would post, I try to post once a day. I was doing the live, but like I said, I'm in live jail right now. So working on another project this week. So, but yeah, you got to stay consistent. That's very important. The algorithm loves that. You and I were talking about how, 18 to 24, 25-year-olds are now using social media as search engines.
Yeah.
So make everything searchable. Put a question in your caption. What's the best sneaker to wear with a business suit? Or whatever, just making things up. So put that question in. Also, I would say have 3 avatars. Those are the 3 people you're talking to. Write them down, right? It's Jim. He just got divorced. He's got 3 kids. He's got a great job. And then talk to them. Solve their problems. But get 3 avatars. Get 3 people that you're basically talking to. And keep the hashtags. I think we're keeping like 3 to 4 is what TikTok wants. They don't want a bunch.
What are yours?
My avatars?
Yeah, like your hashtags.
Oh, it's single man, divorced man, dating advice, relationship advice. That's usually the main ones.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm reading one of your captions. Good women are like Lambos. Not many men qualify for one.
Right.
That's what you're in for, folks. Yeah.
And that's the thing, if guys want like a high quality, like go where they're at. Go to the country clubs, go to wine tastings, go bring a book to a wine bar. I know that sounds silly and not many people want to do that, but go where they're at,
Even if you can't read.
Well, do headphones in. Do an audiobook.
Audiobook at the wine bar. Yeah.
Well, you got to hold the book.
You got to hold of it. I've got an earpiece in. I'm just listening.
Yeah. I think, also I love, I hope we have a minute. I tell people all the time, there is nothing more I love than getting hit on randomly at the grocery store, at like a baseball game. Do that. That is the coolest thing. And that means you have so much confidence.
Yeah.
And also, I was telling someone the other day, if you walk up to a woman and she gives you a no, who cares? That no is so insignificant compared to someone you've been dating for 2 years and they know everything about you, your ins and outs about you. And they say, I'm done with you. No, I don't want you. That no hurts. Walking up to a stranger and makes a decision in a second, 2 seconds, like, no, that's okay. You got to keep going.
Be bold.
Be bold. Be ballsy.
Be radical.
Be radical. There you go.
Oh, man. I'm just perusing through your Instagram here. I love it. Jen, I know you got a lot of things cooking, and let's hit those channels one more time for everybody where they can follow you on Instagram, TikTok. I know YouTube's coming. Tell them the channels. So Instagram is Jen Larson Official. That's also where you're going to book a coaching appointment if you want a one-on-one personal calls and call. All my handles, Jen Larson Official. So TikTok, Clapper, YouTube's coming. But it's all set up. It's already all there. So you can start following, even though I'm starting to load up content there. I'm just getting started. So yeah, no, you're early. Hey, we're early. See, I like to get ahead of these things early. I know, I know the stars when I see them. Oh, thank you. And you're going to be one. I know. I want to stay in touch and follow your journey. And I really appreciate you coming on. Thanks for having me. It was fun. Go follow Jen Larson. That's JenLarson official. We'll have all that in the show notes. You'll see that if you're watching or listening to this, that's down there in the show notes. You'll see it. And if you're watching, you see my hand pointing down. I do that sometimes and I'm like, I'm on audio, but no, we do have video. We're on YouTube and everything else. So you can find Jen on all those channels. You know where to find us, theradcast.com. Search for Jen Larson. You'll find all the highlight clips from today. I'm Ryan Alford. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram. See that blue check, the one I didn't pay for? It's everywhere. At Ryan Alford. We'll see you next time on the Radcast.
To listen or watch full episodes, visit us on the web at theradcast.com or follow us on social media at our Instagram account, the.rad.cast, or at Ryan Alford. Stay radical.